So we shall go on to the next interesting segment of this webinar, One Case, One Pearl. And we have a first speaker, Dr. Neha, who's going to be presenting on managing leaky blebs, my experience. She's an alumni of RP Center, specializing in pediatric and glaucoma, and has her own glaucoma center at New Delhi, Advanced Eye Care and Glaucoma Services. On to you, Dr. Neha.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chitra, Dr. Tanuj, for having me here, and thanks AIOC and ARC. So I'll be talking about managing the late leaky bleb. Second. Yeah. So my acknowledgements to my mentor and my colleague. I have no financial disclosures. So in current times, we all know that trabeculectomy is now almost being used along with the adjuvants like mitomycin C or 5-FU. So they have definitely increased our success rates. There is no doubt about it. But along with it, it has brought plethora of complications, which includes avascular, localized, thin-walled blebs, which show bleb leaks, bleb-related infections. So a perfect balance is required. We need to take care of the mitomycin C factors, like what dose are we using, what duration we are using, a wider area of application, and at the same time, patient factors like what is our diagnosis? Are we dealing with secondary glaucomas, neovascular glaucomas? What is the target IOP that we are looking at? And how is the overall conjunctival health? Also, we know the difference between the incidence of infections becomes higher when the flaps are limbus based and it is lower when it is fornix based. So my today's case is a 66-year-old female who was a case of primary angle closure glaucoma, and she underwent trabeculectomy approximately 15 years back. And now she presented to us. I'll just start my video. Yeah, so she presented with a thin-walled, overhanging sedal positive bleb, and with complaints of hypertony, complaints of diminution of vision, hypotony. On intraoperative OCT as well as preoperative OCT, we saw that there was a full thickness scleral defect. So using Vanna scissors, we excised the dysfunctional bleb tissue, and clearly we could see an area of scleral defect. So hemostasis was achieved. And then using a skin biopsy punch, we fashioned a circular scleral graft. And then we used a crescent knife to make groove in the edges of this graft so that we can tuck in the scleral patch without using sutures. So the scleral patch was tucked in the defect area. So then we again saw it under the OCT, and we saw that the defect area was nicely covered. Then a subconjunctival ologen was placed, and which was anteriorly covering the thinned out cornea and the scleral patch graft. And since we were falling short of the conjunctiva, we took a conjunctival autograft from the inferior area and then sutured the graft posteriorly to the advanced conjunctiva and anteriorly to the cornea. And at the end of it, we again did the OCT. And we saw that the bleb wall as well as the scleral integrity was very well maintained. So 1 week post-operatively, patient had IOP of 12 millimeters of mercury. The repeat ASOCT showed restoration of scleral integrity. So we all know that late onset bleb leaks, there are ways you can manage them non-surgically by use of aqueous suppressants, pressure bandage, tissue adhesives, injection of blood into the bleb, lasers. But however, conservative management for late onset bleb leaks may be helpful in only 50% of the cases, and remaining will need some surgery. So the role of ologen is increasingly coming into picture in bleb revision surgeries. Basically because of the following benefits. One being that it provides tamponade over the filtration site in the initial phase and allows help in building up of the IOP. It gives some mechanical support to the thinned out sclera. It prevents conjunctival scarring and failure of your surgery. Cosmetically, it is better than patch graft. It is more readily available. And obviously, because it acts as a scaffold for the cells to grow and makes it a good alternative for scleral patch. So as the title is one case, one pearl. So the pearl here is this. Dr. Tanuj had already mentioned in his talk that when a patient of late onset bleb leak or hypotony is coming to you, it is very important that you identify the level. Where is the problem occurring? If only conjunctiva is the dysfunctional, bleb epithelium is dysfunctional, conjunctiva is dysfunctional, then you can go for conjunctival advancement only. If your scleral flap is friable, then we can think of raising another scleral flap like Momini's repair. However, if your scleral bed, the entire scleral bed is necrosed, then you need a scleral patch graft, as in our case. So the use of anterior segment OCT and UBM is very helpful. They can help you plan your surgery ahead. So our suggestion is that whenever you have such patients, plan to take them up for anterior segment OCT, identify where the problem is, and then have a tailored approach for each case. Thank you.
One question to you, Dr. Tanuj. Would you advise that we paint a thin-walled bleb whenever we see them in every visit?
Can you repeat? You said if you have a thin-walled bleb, then?
Would you paint it and see whether there is a leak at all times in every visit?
No, if you have a thin cystic bleb, it is always better to do a Seidel test and even apply pressure and see if there is some leakage. And if these patients, you must counsel about the warning signs, what is called as RSVP. If they anytime have redness, sensitivity to light, decreased vision or pain, you should prescribe them a broad spectrum antibiotic. They should immediately start using antibiotic and report immediately to the emergency services of any hospital, because they're at increased risk for blebitis and endophthalmitis. So I think you require definitely long-term surveillance. And now we have a low threshold. Whenever we see a thin cystic overhanging bleb, the conjunctival advancement procedure is quite simple one, and it helps to restore the integrity of the bleb, and patient no longer is susceptible to blebitis, endophthalmitis. So you should go ahead and repair these thin cystic bleb, especially if there's a young patient.
Thank you very much. Though I think that the bleb failure is quite imminent when we are doing a conjunctival advancement, no?
Yeah, that is the downside, but you have to prevent the vision-threatening blebitis, endophthalmitis.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tanuj.